So I'm sitting at the world famous Pendray Hotel. This is in Victoria, BC. The Empress is just up the end of the block here. The story at Pendray is very haunted. What happened here originally is quite shocking. Before the Pendrays came, there was another German guy bought the property just beside us over here on the bay. That's now the Aurora Hotel. He coming here, he decided to level land. He wants to go make a factory to build his soap factory. So what he had done, he started to clear the property only to realize that the workers were saying that there were bodies in the trees and caskets hanging from the trees all over the place. He consulted with the foreman consulted with the head Lakwegan chief, and he said, well, that's our village of the dead. He said, we believe that the dead are still alive, and we wait for the bodies to decompose. Eventually they either go back to the earth or they're reborn in the next generation of people. So disturbing them is very bad, because that's actually where they live. The German fellow didn't believe this at all, obviously, born with either Catholic or background. So what he did is then he said, well, fine, it's my land now. So he all this idea of spirits he thought was crazy. So he ended up leveling the land, burning the caskets, chucking them into the ocean, destroying everything. A year later, actually it's 2 years later, the factory opens, and in the meantime the chief has come back to him and said, sorry, he says, you have really upset the ghost. He says, there's going to be consequences, and they're very angry at you. We are leaving. We're not sticking around here. We have no intentions, because they'll be mad at us too, and we don't like it. So the whole tribe left, moved up the coast. On the day of opening of the factory, what happened is 2 fires started, oddly enough, same time, at his house, which is just located around here, and back at the factory, which is half a mile away. The factory burns to the ground. The house, his catches fire. His wife goes crazy and insane and dies 6 months later. She says she saw beings of fire stroking the flames. These elemental beings stroking the flames like dead spirits, making everything burn. Jacob ended up going bankrupt and leaving. A few years later, Mr. Pendray came along, bought the land for cheap, started his own factory. Now, he wasn't stupid. He realized the legend of what had happened. So at that time in the 1890s, he built the most sophisticated firefighting equipment they had, which was these giant copper pipes full of water to fight any potential fires that broke out. On the day that factory opened, Mr. Pendray came in to look at the factory and the results and see, how he would do. He ended up, one of the copper pipes from 30 feet up in the air broke free from where it was anchored, solidly anchored to the wall, smashed him on the head, crushed his head. His son then came running up on his horse. He rode a horse, and he used to ride it very fast through town. With a carriage, a horse-drawn carriage, I should say. It was a horse-drawn carriage. He came running up. As they approached the front of the factory, the horse stopped as if it was frightened by something, and the son came skidding off the front of the carriage because he wasn't strapped in at all. And then the horse, as if something slapped it, took off, and then that carriage proceeded then to run over his son's head and crush his head as well. So both Pendrays have died. Since then, it's been fairly quiet. The land has now become a hotel, the Aurora Hotel, which reports many times in the lounge area, which is closest to the village. Voices, the TV flickers, the room's very cold. Many people in the rooms complain about channels changing on their own or not changing at all. Lots of weird things happen there. The Pendray itself, the Pendray room, or which used to be the honeymoon suite, people would go in there and sleep, and in that room they have many times reported seeing headless ghosts in there, frightening them, scaring them. Many people booked a room on purpose just to have that experience. I wouldn't. I'm staying in one of the other rooms that's, supposedly not haunted. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll tell you more about Victoria.